What's up and welcome back to the channel. The name is Ninja Knight. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell up above for future uploads and check out the links posted down below in the description. Thank you. So here I have a post from ESPN MMA and they're saying Usman and Masvidal's respective management teams appear to have interest in the rivals as opposing coaches on TUF, The Ultimate Fighter. This is something that really interests me because these are two guys with very solid personalities and very solid fighting styles behind them. Now it's very interesting looking at some of the Twitter barbs that have been traded between Masvidal and Usman already, and Masvidal is absolutely roasting Usman in my opinion in the way he's talking already. It's no secret that Masvidal had short notice the last time they fought and Masvidal was out to break his nose. So with a full camp, I think Jorge Masvidal, to be honest, I think he might pip this one. I think he'll win. Looking at the fight on the weekend between Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman, it was very clear to see that Kamaru Usman is possibly a slow starter. So Gilbert Burns was able to light him up pretty early, and it took Usman to get that breakdown between rounds and then get into the second round and get into his stride. And I have to say the second round was absolutely phenomenal from Kamaru Usman, particularly as a champion, to come back from what seemed to be very big adversity in the first round and then to dominate and win the way he did in the second round was absolutely brilliant stuff, and I suppose highlight reel type stuff with the way he came back. However though, looking at it from the other side of things, if you're going to compete against Usman, it's very clear that if you hit him early and you pressure him very early, that there are cracks in that foundation, and that if you do follow up on that with good skill and also the ability to land, which I think Jorge Masvidal has buckets of, because he showed it with Nate Diaz that pressure is unrelenting and he's a very good technical striker, that he could pose a very serious problem for Kamaru Usman, particularly if he has a full camp. Now, you already have to know about these guys in the past with the way that these guys have nailed their colours to the flags, insofar as Jorge Masvidal has been a big supporter of Orange Man Rad, and Kamaru Usman then made it his business then to start mouthing off after beating Colby Covington about this is for the world and all of this type of nonsense. Now, when you look at Kamaru Usman's manager being Ali Abdel Aziz, or Ali Abdel Asliz as a lot of people will call him, then you're adding a new layer then to this fight. And personally then I think that the trash talking between these guys could go to another level again, because I think when you're looking at some of these guys, there is an awful lot that gets said about them, particularly the fighters that are under Ali, that it seems like Ali has a handle on their Twitter or some sort of backup in a way at times. It seems like some of the tweets that come from certain profiles seem like they're being written by Ali. So it'd be interesting to see if that same energy is brought by the likes of Kamaru Usman into this Ultimate Fighter, which I think would be absolutely phenomenal. And I do believe then when you're looking at Jorge Masvidal, particularly his career and the ability from himself to be able to talk, I think that sparks will definitely fly between these two, and this will be a great Ultimate Fighter season. So we have Brett Okamoto that says Kamaru Usman's manager Ali Abdelaziz just told me he's already talking to UFC about Usman and Masvidal as tough coaches. It's what Kamaru wants, and Jorge deserves a full camp, but he and his team better be on their best behaviour. We already beat them up inside and out the cage. Now that's already mounting out of him already, and this Ali Abdelaziz guy, he's nowhere to be seen when stuff like this goes down. So it'd be interesting to see if he does turn up at any point in time and if anything happens. This is the same team, by the way, that's behind Khabib Nurmagomedov, and the same team that felt it was alright to corner Artem Lobov, and then it was the same team then that cried foul when Conor McGregor turned up with a few heads. So it's interesting to see that they like to talk about these type of things, and Conor McGregor did go deep cuts on this individual with what he knows about him, and certainly there is more. So this is going to be very interesting to see as a tough season. So subsequently to this then we see then Malky Kawa says, let's do it. Tough. Masvidal versus Usman. We accept. Now, I think that this will be an interesting fight, I think, between these two gentlemen. I think they're very interesting fighters, particularly when you look at Jorge Masvidal's record. It's quite good. And then also that knockout of Ben Askren, particularly so early into that fight, is something that you could probably think that he might do or try to aim towards against Usman again. Usman has a very good stamina rate, and he also has then a very good endurance rate, so I think that is important for Masvidal then to pinpoint this early on and just try and get him very quickly. Personally, I'd like to see Masvidal win. I think he's a very interesting character. Obviously there's various different reasons why I'd like to see Masvidal win, but I think particularly because he's an interesting character, and I think Usman, whilst he's a great champ, a great fighter, I think it's nice to see sometimes the belt circulating around and then it brings in new individuals, because at this moment When you look at Kamaru Usman, I think Joe Rogan said it best along with Daniel Cormier. You know, he's fought everybody. He's pretty much won against everyone. So who's there left to win against? So I think for a story point of view, if Masvidal wins this one, and that opens up a lot of options, and particularly options that Masvidal has certainly opened his mouth against in the last couple of years. So I think that would be absolutely fascinating to watch. And then also then as Kamaru Usman, I think he did try to inject a little bit more personality into the post-fight analysis that he had with Joe Rogan. But I think that personality ultimately isn't there. I don't see Kamaru Usman being that type of guy that's going to be a leading champion that people are going to buy in to watch. I think he's going to end up becoming like a Tyrone Woodley that people buy in to watch lose. So I think if you're looking at this as an Ultimate Fighter spectacle, that could be absolutely fascinating. I love the Ultimate Fighter personally myself because it gives you a very deep dive into these individuals, to what they're like behind the cameras. And I could completely think otherwise now by the time of the fight. I might be a big Kamaru Usman fan. I highly doubt it personally. But when you're looking at these Ultimate Fighters, there's been precedent in the past. When you look into people and see what they're like on a day-to-day basis, you certainly then get a good feel for what they like. One of those seasons that I have to say that turned my opinion completely was the Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate season. Miesha Tate came off out of that season looking way better than Ronda Rousey did, and I don't think Ronda Rousey's career ever really recovered after that in terms of people knowing what she was like on a day-to-day basis, knowing what the behaviour was like, and then seeing Miesha Tate and the way Miesha Tate conducted herself within that. I think a lot of people got a lot of respect from Miesha Tate as a result from that. Now, not to say that these people are perfect whatsoever, but it's certainly a very interesting look into the psyche of individuals, and particularly as they behave on a day-to-day basis. So I think that this is going to be a very interesting season if this goes ahead. I certainly do hope it goes ahead. I wouldn't put anything past now the Ali Abdelaziz guy or Usman to be pulling out of this or to do certain things that don't suit them. So I would certainly hope if they sign on the dotted line that they do turn up, because that's something Usman was saying about Masvidal, that he was saying he could have signed a couple of times but decided not to. I think that's quite an interesting thing to say. I'm sure that'll get brought up on the show. There's going to be multiple reasons, I think, for that one. If that's true, if it's not true, I'm sure that Jorge Masvidal is going to say that to him, to his face. And then, like I said already, then you have on Twitter Jorge Masvidal putting up clips of Usman hugging him and stamping on his feet and being like, "This is all you had while I took your nose." So I think there's going to be a lot going to be said between these two, and I think it's going to be funny. If it's going to be the next Ultimate Fighter season, I'm ready for it. I have to say this is going to be very, very good stuff to watch, and I'm all in for it. Anyway, I'm going to leave the video there. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell up above for future uploads. Check out the links posted below in the description, and I'll talk to you later. Good luck.